Hello and welcome to Demian Allan's Astrology channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you like. Press the like button because it all helps. So this video is for March 2022, what to expect, the key dates that to look out for. And it's a bit of an exciting month and there's a lot going on astrologically, and we're going to take a look at the main kind of features. So I'm recording this on the 1st of March, so happy March. And it's an interesting month because we go from the end of the astrological cycle to the beginning. So the sun is in Pisces up until the 20th of March, where the sun will ingress into Aries. So it's a really significant point because that's the spring equinox. I'll talk a bit about that later on. But more importantly, that's the start of the astrological wheel. It's a really kind of rainy, damp March, typical of the weather, typical of the season. But I can hear lots of birds around me in my magical space that I am currently residing in to do this video. Now, okay, so let's kickstart with the 2nd of March, because that's kind of really important. There's a lot going on the 2nd of March. First of all, we have a new moon in Pisces at 12 degrees. That's going to happen at 17:35 GMT time. And it's also conjunct to Jupiter, which is also traveling in Pisces. This is kind of major. It's a very Piscean theme that we've got going on here, and really kind of significant. If we look at Pisces as an energy, as a force, as a planetary energy, what we begin to kind of sense with it is people uniting, people feeling empathy for each other. And I think this is quite significant with what's been going on politically in the news, and particularly in Eastern Europe. So this is a positive new moon. It looks back and it looks forward at the same time. New moons are about looking forward, and the energy of the moon, waxing in its light. But also the Piscean new moon is incredibly important in recognizing that we're all human beings, we're all connected in some way, and this is a reminder of it. So it's quite a subtle actually energy. It's not something that is dramatically you're going to feel. It's about grounding oneself, it's about looking into the future, spiritual practice, not being overcome by the fear that's out there at the moment. And it's conjunct to Jupiter, and Jupiter's traveling really fast at the moment through Pisces, and Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, so it's really comfortable, and that is a bit of optimism that's coming forward. That is a bit of people maybe feeling that they're moving on from an energy that they've been in for some time, and that they feel that they've been stuck. Suddenly things begin to move forward, things begin to seem that there is opportunities out there for growth and for change. What's also occurring on that day as well, which is the planet Mars, which is in Capricorn, is conjunct to Pluto. This has been building up for the end of February and early March, but particularly on the 2nd of March. So Pluto's in Capricorn, Mars is in Capricorn, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so it's quite happy, but it is conjoining with Pluto. And we've also got Venus there that's been doing a retrograde and moving back over the degrees that it was retrograde in January, and also forming conjunction with Pluto. So that's really significant. And at the same time, we've got Mercury also making a conjunction with Saturn in Aquarius. So 2nd is quite a big day actually. Lots going to happen. I would imagine that it's very tense. Like I said, you've got to sort of harness the energy of the Jupiter conjunction with the new moon, rather than the conjunction of Mars and Pluto, if you can. So the Mars and Pluto is fear. It's a real sense of tension in the air, a sense of power being executed in such a way that it's quite dominant and demanding. So you want to sort of shift your energetic focus more to the new moon. And you can do that consciously by, meditating on a new moon, meditating on the theme of Pisces, the end of cycles, the beginning of a new one. So that really can kind of be a big help. So that's the first thing. So it's a major data second here, and that will lead into the third and the fourth. Those themes will play out here as well. Then we move on to the 6th of March. And the 6th of March, 2 planetary major events, Venus and Mars, both ingress into Aquarius. So they make a conjunction with each other. So we have a dance between Venus and Mars. And that is really significant because Venus and Mars are the archetypal of the male and female polarity. And that particularly focuses on relationships and how relationships manifest and how they grow and they change, and how to be diplomatic, but also to be direct. So there's a lot going on in the idea of relationships, and how to navigate your way through that. So if you've been in situations where you've not known where you stand with someone, this might be the time that kind of comes to the surface. It's in Aquarius here as well, which is a sign that's not notoriously known for being emotional. It can be objective, it can step back. So this is a time to dissect and step back from relationships around you. I'm not just talking about romantic ones also, I'm talking about close personal relationships that maybe you feel stifled, you feel that they don't support you as much. This is a chance to not get emotional, but to step back from them and dissect them, look at them. Do they really work for you? And that actually will work in conjunction with the new moon on the 2nd, because that will focus on the heart center, and then you can focus on the head center. So the 6th is really, really important. And then on the 10th, Mercury enters into Pisces. Now Mercury it is not comfortable in Pisces because Mercury likes logic. It likes commerce, it likes communicating, it likes space to maneuver. And Pisces is a zodiac sign that doesn't like boundaries, that's very emotionally connected, and therefore Mercury cannot necessarily be objective in Pisces. So the emotions and the intellect kind of get sort of interrupted. And therefore, when you put that in line with the Venus and Mars conjunction in Aquarius, again, you can see that things may not seem as clear as they should. And therefore, you have to be, again, step away from yourself and your own motivations, and try not to make major decisions, particularly in regards to relationships at that time. So really, from the 6th all the way up to, the 12th to 13th. Because these are, the early part of March is really key. That's where the difficulty goes. Look out for the 11th as well. The 11th is very interesting in terms of the Eastern Europe situation as well. That circumstances change on around about that day. So the 10th, 11th, 12th as well. So that's the tempo and the theme begins to change. So there's a definite kind of a sense of not necessarily things get resolved, but structure coming in for that. So Mercury in Pisces. So if you think about it, the Sun is in Pisces, Mercury is in Pisces, so we're in a very, very Piscean energy. So is Jupiter as well. And that leads us up on the 18th to the full moon, which is at 27 degrees in Virgo. It's early in the morning, 7:17 in the morning. It's going to be opposing Neptune, which is in Pisces. Look out for that number 27. We've had a lot of, obviously, the full moons at that 27, 26, 27 degree mark. In secondary progressions, it takes the progressed moon about 27.5 years to go round the whole zodiac to make a conjunction with your natal moon. 27 is a really kind of important time, and it's at the end of the Virgo degrees and is opposite Neptune and Virgo. So this is, Virgo obviously rules health issues that come into play. I would think that this really kind of relates to the health issues that have been going on for the last couple of years with the pandemic and stuff like that. And it may be that there is a sense of some form of kind of closure with that begins to take place, but it's not clear because of the opposition with Neptune. Maybe something comes out around that time that makes us all feel, oh God, this is meant to be over or meant to be kind of moving forward, and it doesn't kind of feel that way. Again, Neptune always rules smoke and mirrors, so you've got to be really, really careful of that. So it's a bit of a funny full moon. It's an immutable sign of Virgo, and full moons, immutable signs can be a little bit tricky energetically to deal with, simply because they're so changeable, and the moon is fluctuating anyway. So it's very hard to be grounded in immutable full moon energy. And again, at 27 degrees, the last decan of Virgo, which is important. That's ruled by Venus, sub-ruled by Venus. So the Venus element will definitely kind of help it. But you've got an opposition with Neptune, and that always accentuates and magnifies a sense of not feeling grounded. Now, a lot of people might not feel this, but if you're spiritually inclined or you're in spiritual practice, you might feel this a lot more. You might be much more sensitive to this energy. So just be kind of aware of trying to remain grounded in that kind of time period, the 17th particularly, because this is an early morning full moon. So the 17th, the evening of the 17th, or the day of the 17th will feel the most ungrounded, perhaps. We get to the 18th, and then by the late afternoon, that should have begun to pass, because of course the moon is going to go to the next sign. It's going to ingress in the next sign of the zodiac, which is Libra. Then on the 20th, we have the spring equinox at 15:33 GMT time, when the sun goes into Aries. Yay! The astrological start of the year, a celebration of spring, of renewed vigor, of new opportunities, of a sense of optimism. Always a fantastic time to set new projects, to set new businesses, to really begin to look at how you can set your intentions going forward. And if you have a business that you'd be kind of thinking, when do I launch that business? Spring equinox is a perfect time. I'm going to do another video actually in about a week and a half on the spring equinox astrology chart, so we can take a look at the influences around that. But it is quite a, I know it's got a Virgo rising, and it's quite a powerful in terms of health and healing energy that we'll be working with. So it's a real kind of celebration of spring equinox that we go into. And then on 27th, Mercury will enter into Aries as well, making conjunctions, obviously applying a conjunction with the sun in Aries. So again, from the Mercury, the nebulous Mercury in Pisces, to the rather bombastic energy of Mercury in Aries comes into play. So it's very direct, very forthright energy moving forward. And I think that's going to be the kind of the theme of March, is that it will feel like there's a lot of fear around, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors around in the early part. There's a lot of repeated cycles, it will feel like, but there will be a bout of optimism and a sense of things are changing, but we need to do things differently. And then at the end, from the 20th, there's that kind of energy of, right, we're just going to move forward. We can't go back to where we've been or what we've been doing or how we've been responding and reacting. We just got to move forward. So it's really quite a significant month, actually, March. All the planets are moving forward, which is always good. You know, the moon's nodes are at the latter degrees of Taurus and Scorpio. As I said, a lot of focus before on financial matters, how people survive financially. That is going to be the theme for the rest of 2022 because of the moon's nodes in Taurus and Scorpio. They naturally deal with the financial houses in astrology, so that will be a theme that plays out, particularly with the Uranus in Taurus aspect as well. Don't forget, I mean, Uranus and Saturn, they're still squaring each other. It's a wide orb, but they are still squaring each other, and so you have to consider that. If I think the early part, the first sort of 6-7 days, the slightly tricky energy, particularly on the first, the second, and the third, simply because of that Mars and Pluto conjunction. Just blessings that we have the new moon at Pisces making a conjunction to Jupiter does kind of help the situation. But generally, this is a month of a lot of change, a lot of growth, a lot of development, but also coming away from the fears that a lot of people have been feeling, and quite rightly. Anyway, that's it for me. I reiterate, please subscribe to the channel and press the like button. It really does help moving forward. And look out for my next video, which is going to be on the spring equinox. So enjoy your March.